The downfall of the hero society has just started. Darby is literally castrating his father in front of the entire nation on live television. But this is not just about Endeavor anymore, but rather this is about the hero society in general, and the consequences of all of this are going to be very severe. Looks like my prognostication was actually quite correct, because last week I predicted that the repercussions of Darby's truth will go a long way and will eventually lead to the downfall of the hero society. And looks like that is actually going to be the case. This is not just about Endeavor anymore, because there's something very big going on about Hawks as well. So let's talk about this. Hello and welcome to Undervisey. My name is Soham and today we're going to talk about My Hero Academia chapter 291. Now if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to the channel since I do weekly anime and manga related content. Also, we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2020, so a like and sub would be massively appreciated. Moreover, you are now entering into manga spoiler territory. If you are an anime only viewer, then you have been warned. Please click off the video if you have not read the manga yet. Now as usual, these spoilers are courtesy of Atsushi101x on Twitter. Please definitely give him a follow there. Now in spite of having the spoiler summary, I am still not able to understand or grasp a couple of things, because it's that confusing in this particular chapter. So maybe we'll get more information about it once the official chapter releases, or maybe these plot threads would be actually resolved in the upcoming chapters and not just directly in this chapter. We have to remember that next week will be a break, so we're not getting any chapters then. I'll probably do a theory video because I think there is something very big going on with a certain character, with the arrival of a certain character, which I'll talk about in a bit. Now this chapter begins with the image of little Toya Todoroki standing. He's looking really cute there. I mean, just look at this boy. Just look at this boy. But the narration starts by saying that Toya Todoroki died inside a Sekoto Dake. I don't exactly know what is this thing called or how is this even pronounced, so I'm really sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. This is probably some Japanese term which I'm really unfamiliar with. But here, according to the summary, we see that it's some sort of a fireproof place where Endeavor used to train his firepower. And this particular place had temperatures reaching about 2600 Celsius. It is implied that Endeavor wasn't there with him when all of this happened. So slowly we are getting the glimpses of that day, the day which has been forecasted or foretold to us for a really long time now. And it is also revealed to us, the readers, that the only thing they found out was a piece of his lower jaw bone. This is huge. I still can't get my brain around all of this. I still need time to process all of this, but this is something very huge. I am literally speechless now after reading all of this. This is going to be one hell of a ride. But the scene next switches to Enji Todoroki and Toya Todoroki in the training room. I think this interaction happened before all of this. But here Enji Todoroki or Endeavor notices something, and that is a part of Toya's hair is turning white. Toya obviously playfully denies all of this, just like any kid would do, and he's saying that no way am I turning into a grandpa. And then he told Endeavor to teach him his ultimate move, that is Prominence Burn. Obviously Prominence Burn is his ultimate move, and we are actually going to see something like that in the later half of this chapter, which I am super excited about. But this is something what happens here. Also, there's quite a big theory going on surrounding Toya's hair and why exactly it went white in a way, because there's no actual information about this given in this particular chapter. Now according to this theory, maybe it was Rei's genes which were taking over him, but then again he didn't have the ice powers of Rei Todoroki, which Endeavor actually wanted in the very first place. So I personally think that this is something in relation to him overheating or not being able to handle that amount of heat, because we have to remember that Endeavor himself admitted that, even Endeavor admitted that Toya's firepower is greater than even his own firepower. So we are potentially going to see something like that in the upcoming chapters. But either way, more of Darby's past is revealed to us. Toya was described as someone with firepower more than Enji Todoroki. Even though he didn't possess the ice power to neutralize the overheat, Enji still wanted to raise him as a hero. He still wants the half-cold, half-hot quirk, and this is the reason why Rei suggested to have another child, and that's how Fuyumi was born. But still Fuyumi lacked the ice powers. But still, with both the children not having the quirks he wanted, Enji was still okay with it because Toya's firepower was already greater than his own. So Endeavor poured all of his motivations, all of his hatred, jealousy and all of his regrets and ambitions upon Toya Todoroki because he wanted to make him the hero that would be greater than All Might. Now this is where we are entering the psyche of Endeavor and the dark past that he has had for such a long time. But these were all of the things which he had for the past, and now we are back to the war scene, and Endeavor is still in disbelief. He doesn't want to believe that all of this has just happened, and he doesn't believe that Darby is his child. But Darby challenges him on live television and says that he has a DNA test. Hell, even the League of Villains are surprised by all of this. They are absolutely shocked. They are saying that this is the very first time that they are hearing something like this. I think that the entire League of Villains didn't knew about this, but I think that what was his name, Dr. Murata or something like that, that one doctor knew about all of this, and he's the person who managed to do the DNA test and everything. It is literally broadcasted on live television, and there is 99.99% of match. Darby says that he managed to acquire Endeavor's blood from the Kyushu encounter, and he explains his point of views towards Endeavor. The way Endeavor was excited for his masterpiece, Shoto's birth, and saying that Endeavor never thought about anyone else but himself. And finally, Darby asks head on to the public that if such a person is actually worthy of being the #1 hero title. Bam! It's finally here. My prognostication was absolutely correct. This will be the downfall, or the starting point of the downfall of the Hero Society. Things are about to go very dark from here on. Even if Shigaraki doesn't manage to win the fight on his own, but still this one move will change the tide of the entire battle, because now the entire public will start questioning the heroes themselves. This is going to take a very dark turn, and this is giving a totally different look to what Deku said at the very beginning of this particular arc, that they lost a lot of heroes. I thought, and everyone thought, that this was very literal and that the heroes died from the attacks of Shigaraki, but now I think this is much more deeper and sinister, because the support for the Hero Society will be abandoned by the general public. There will be no taxation, there will be no money for the sustainment of the heroes. This is going to become a very dark time for the society. Also, it is revealed to us that Natsuo is watching the broadcast and Fuyumi is currently in the classroom, but it is shown that a school staff was waiting for her or calling her. We are seeing that Kyushu kid once again was not able to believe what is showing on in the broadcast. But then Darby starts to expose Hawks as well. Darby is literally taking down the Hero Society. First the #1 hero and now the #2 hero. Man, where is this thing even going on? But either way, he starts to expose Hawks by showing the video of him killing twice. That is literally broadcasted on live television, something that millions of people saw. I am having one particular thought here. What will even Toga think about all of this? Will she be mad at Darby for showing something like this? Like she might think that Darby didn't help twice and he was just recording the whole incident to gain leverage upon Hawks. I think this particular scene will have some nuances down the line, because we have to remember that Toga herself is a very nuanced character. She is not just a chaotic evil character. There are some very different shades to her personality as a whole. So I think this particular incident will have some sort of a rift in the League of Villains. But Darby continues and says that Hawks is the person who also killed Best Jeanist. He also says that Hawks' father was actually a villain, a serial killer and a robber, and Endeavor had actually picked him up. In the broadcast, he also said that he cannot forgive Endeavor for being such a person with such a dark history or such a dark background. He cannot accept a person like Endeavor to become a hero. Now, Endeavor is absolutely shocked by all of this. He's not able to move. This guy is literally having a midlife crisis, and I totally understand that. For me, Endeavor has always been a very nuanced character. I understand his past, I understand the horrible stuff that he has done so far. But he's a changed man. He wants to become a changed man. He's very sorry for the things that he has done in the past. But then again, the question is, can we move forward by just forgetting our past? Is that so easy to do? Is it something so easy to do? That is the question that is looming upon us, and that is the question that is looming upon Endeavor as a whole. Now obviously Shoto, even though he once upon a time despised his father, but still he is screaming at him to move back. He says that he and Nejire will handle Darby, but Endeavor is still not able to move and Shoto is literally panicking. Of course he will panic. But at that very moment, Darby jumps off from the shoulders of Gigantomachia and with a prominence burn, he says to Endeavor, "Thank you for being fine until today," and he's going for the killing move. Just seeing Darby with prominence burn, man, that's something I was not expecting. But at that very moment, he's caught with a wire. Oh boy, what a return. What a return. I wish he appeared 5 minutes ago, but still, Darby is caught in the wires of Best Jeanist. In the very last panel, we see Best Jeanist appearing saying that he will return to work starting today, and that is the end of the chapter. Now this was something absolutely mind-blowing. I'm having thousands of different thoughts because on one hand there's the downfall of the Hero Society and stuff which we have seen from Endeavor and Hawks. On the other hand, I'm thinking about Shoto and Dabi, what all stuff will happen with them. And now Best Jeanist has appeared. I'm making a prognostication right now. In the upcoming few chapters, that is in the upcoming 5 to 10 chapters, we are going to see something very big with Bakugo. Because we have to remember that he was waiting for Best Jeanist to appear and he was about to reveal his hero name only in front of Best Jeanist. I think something big is about to come for Bakugo as a whole. But this is it for this chapter. This is My Hero Academia chapter 291. What are your thoughts about it? Please mention them in the comment section below. So that's it for today guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more. This is WonderYZ and I'll see you soon in the next video.